Capital One's The Match is back. Aaron Rodgers is new to the game. He and Bryson DeChambeau are going to take on past champions Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady.
I'd love to get under Phil's skin. I don't think it's that hard, but that's something that I would just love to do, to get him so domed up, looking at my right calf. You're riding around on a golf cart. You don't really have to do anything athletic the entire day.
Golf's amazing. Obviously, it's a great hobby for us football players.
Shut your mouth, Chad.
Aaron's very clutch. Bryce, I'm glad you're encouraging him to kind of go for it when it's on the line.
Tom, tremendous respect for you. I just can't wait to be testing those golf balls out. You know, those things may feel a little different when it comes game time.
We're going to be in Big Sky, Montana, Moonlight Basin. I think everybody here is going to be hitting lots of bombs on this golf course, yes?
Actually, this course was specifically chosen once we had our opponents. So much more difficult to judge the distance when you're hitting it as far as Bryson hits it.
July 6th, what a match it's going to be.
Phil Mickelson won the first edition of the Match versus Tiger, then was bested by Woods and Peyton Manning. But then with Charles Barkley in tow, he beat Peyton and Steph Curry. And now he faces one of the best young golfers in the game in Bryson DeChambeau. And for more on the match, let's now welcome in the host of the First Cut podcast, Rick Gehman, alongside Kyle Porter. Rick, I got to give you props, man. We talked about Cam Davis. Cam Davis coming through at plus 1,600, your pick on Saturday. Take a bow, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. Long time coming for Cam Davis. I certainly do not think it is going to be his last absolute talent on tour we have.
Absolute great pick there, and that's why you listen to Rick Gehman and guys on the First Cut. Let's talk about this match. Mickelson and Barkley took out Peyton and Steph in the last version. We learned what a dormy was. I had no idea what this was. It's a being ahead by as many holes remaining in match play. Now it's Brady versus A-Rod. It's Bryson versus a guy who I'm not sure whether you heard or not, but he's the PGA champion. So, Kyle, what are your expectations for this edition of the match?
Well, certainly Bryson and Aaron Rodgers are just better golfers than Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady, respectively. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I think what's going to be really interesting about this match, Jeremy, is that Phil and Brady are very used to this scenario, this format. We just showed Phil's played in 3 of these already. And I think it's going to be easy for them to kind of get Bryson and Aaron Rodgers out of their element a little bit. It's not that hard to do with Bryson. I think we've seen that over the last several months with some of the Brooks Koepka needling. Brooks hadn't even really done that much, and Bryson is just kind of out of his world a little bit. I think there's going to be some comments made during the match that are lighthearted, but that Bryson takes a little bit too seriously. And so I don't know if even how good or how well Bryson is playing at golf, how good Aaron Rodgers is even going to matter based on what I think, where I think Brady and Mickelson have the advantage, which is psychologically. I really think that's going to legitimately come into play more so than it has at any other time during these matches.
I don't always like to say this, but Kyle is absolutely right. I think being in the moment before, when you are Phil Mickelson, when you are Tom Brady, having to play to the bottom of the cup, every shot matters, every shot counts. It's going to be a big difference. It's one thing for Aaron Rodgers to go out there and have this really nice swing and to put that into play at Pro-Ams and some of these charity events over the course of the last couple of years. But this is pressure packed now. We're keeping score. There's a lot of people watching. And then what we're going to see from this course in Big Sky is it can literally tip out at 8,000 yards. I'm not making that up. There is unbelievable elevation changes. It plays at 7,500 feet of altitude. And when you are calculating the distances that you're actually going to have to try to hit the ball instead of the real distance that you are away from the pin, some of those calculations can go awry for the amateurs. And for a guy like Bryson DeChambeau, who hits it as hard as he does, it makes those calculations much more important. So this is going to be a phenomenal test for these two teams at a course that's really going to play well on TV.
And I mean, let's talk about Bryson here because, I mean, it's been a rough go for him lately. Splits with caddy Tom Tucker right before the Rocket Mortgage. Apparently, he was stunned by it, although it was a mutual decision, according to both men. Refused to speak to reporters after the Rocket Mortgage, though apparently he got into quite a number of dialogues with fans. He's a paid ambassador there, but he misses the cut. He's got the battle with Koepka. He actually said, "I hate golf" on a microphone during the Rocket Mortgage. I mean, you almost think he should be paired with Phil here, Rick, in order for Phil to impart some of that 51-year-old guidance upon him.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many mutual decisions I've made that I've been surprised about, but I guess we'll take Bryson's word for that one. You know, individually, as you were listing those out, you know, they're all small things. They're not huge things, but when you start to add them all up for a guy, I don't want to use the word fragile, but Bryson, you know, has had some dark moments out there. We've seen that on and off the course. I think it's a lot to handle, and I think it's a lot of turmoil. And now you have to kind of smile for the cameras, go to this Tuesday match, and have fun and poke fun at Phil, because you know Phil is certainly not going to stop with the needles. I think this is a really interesting time for this match to happen because of Bryson's recent play, the Brooks stuff, the caddy stuff. There's just so much going on in his world, and now he has to turn the smile on and play a friendly match with a couple of NFL quarterbacks. I'm absolutely so much looking forward to how this is going to turn out.
I am too, because I think that Bryson is kind of the guy around which all of this revolves. You know, he's not the 6-time major champion, but he's currently the biggest show in golf. You know, he's even Jeremy, like the stuff that we write on CBSSports.com, Bryson attracts a ton of traffic. Like he is who people care about, and I think he knows that, and he's not really going to know how to handle everything from Phil and Tom Brady. He's going to say some awkward stuff. But on a more serious note, I think that Phil is actually a really good example for Bryson of how to handle, you know, the future. Phil's somebody who always has had a ton going on off the course and with endorsements and so many different things. And for the most part, it seems as if he's handled it really well. And Bryson is somebody who has accumulated a lot of just stuff over the last few years. And so I think Phil would be somebody to go to say, hey, how did you handle all this? How did you deal with very public? Nobody cares if Troy Merritt splits with his caddy, but people care a lot if Bryson DeChambeau splits with his. So Phil would be a great person for Bryson to go to off the course and say, hey, how seriously, like over the next 5-10 years, how do I handle being Bryson DeChambeau? And I'm sure Phil would have some jokes for him at the beginning, but also some legitimate advice for him at the end of that conversation.
Well, and of course, fans of Bryson would love to see him come out of this with renewed confidence and then just, you know, light up the PGA Tour as the season rolls along. Let's talk about the quarterback matchup here. Brady, I mean, Tom Brady's loving life. I mean, he's having fun. He's won the Super Bowl. He's trolling A-Rod and Bryson. But A-Rod, though, not like Peyton Manning, he's more like Brady, a better golfer, a cerebral guy, two guys who in the NFL draft were kind of overlooked, so maybe a little bit of a chip on each shoulder in the NFL. Now they come up against each other on the golf course. How do you see this matchup going, Kyle?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is really good, like really, really good. And Tom Brady can be good at times. So I think this is actually where the Bryson and Aaron Rodgers team has a huge advantage. Like Aaron Rodgers, and Phil talked about this a little bit in some of the interviews I saw, talking about how, look, Aaron Rodgers' swing speed and his swing and his ability to hit the ball is super impressive. So I don't, you know, we saw Brady. Brady had a weird outing whenever they played with Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning, where he was really bad for like 6 or 7 holes, and then he was pretty good for a while, and maybe even as good as Phil in that match. So I don't know what to expect from Tom Brady. I don't know which version of Brady we're going to get. But I think we're going to get a really good version of Aaron Rodgers, more so in kind of that Steph Curry vein of like, wow, this guy is like legitimately good at golf. So I think while Bryson, again, could be a wild card, at least psychologically, I think Aaron Rodgers might be the anchor of that team as they try to get the win on Tuesday afternoon.
There's certainly a lot to unwrap here when you're trying to decipher amateur handicaps. Aaron Rodgers plays to about a 3.5, Tom Brady to about a 8.1. You can take those with a grain of salt. I have no idea how realistic either one of them are, but we have seen Tom Brady play, and Kyle's right. The first half dozen holes in the last match, he was the laughingstock. Charles Barkley was needling Tom Brady. You know it's bad when Chuck gets in on the action. Then he holes out for eagle and kind of sparks a little bit of momentum, and then Aaron Rodgers, the swing something that we have seen, again, Kyle alludes to this, very strong with the full swing. Now, what we saw in the previous match with Steph Curry and Peyton Manning is their biggest downfall was the short game. And that's the biggest difference between professionals and amateurs. When you're constantly leaving yourself 4-footers for par and you're Steph Curry or you're Aaron Rodgers, that's troublesome. Not nearly as troublesome when you're Phil Mickelson. So I think from tee to green, Aaron Rodgers certainly going to be able to hold his own. And Tom Brady, knowing kind of the heat he was taking in the Twitterverse and all the things that were going on last time, I think he comes in much more prepared this time.
All right, so Rick, give me a pick to win.
Yeah, give me the dogs here. Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. Not only am I getting plus money, they've won before. I think the experience in this match is valuable. I think that Phil, who is going to coach Tom throughout the entirety of this, that is worth a couple of shots. I just think it's going to be a weird and different moment for DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers, and that number is too long. So give me the dogs. Give me Mickelson and Brady.
Well, just like I walked in Rick's footsteps last weekend when I took Cam Davis on Sunday morning to win the golf tournament, I'm going to walk in his footsteps again. I want Mickelson and Brady. I think that Bryson could be off the rails on Tuesday, or he might shoot like the equivalent of a 65. I have no idea what to expect from him. That volatility is concerning considering he's supposed to be kind of the steady favorite. So I'll take Mickelson and Brady to pull off the upset.
I'm looking for the prop pick on how many times Rodgers gets trolled about being the host of Jeopardy. Rick Gehman and Kyle Porter joining us to talk about the match coming up at 5 Eastern time on Tuesday. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And for more on everything to do with golf, be sure to check out Rick and the fellows on the First Cut podcast. Latest episode, they're breaking down Cam Davis's win at the Rocket Mortgage, a guy that Rick told you to grab as a value pick at plus 1,600 ahead of that second round. If you jumped on that, congrats. That's why you listen to the First Cut. Download and follow wherever you get your preferred audio.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.